Well, apparently a lot of you who were emailing and wondering when Iran was launching these missiles and doing all these tests, whether that was copacetic not only with UN resolutions, but that deal we struck with Iran, you were not alone. But then again, you and I are not United States senators. Kelly Ayotte of the fine state of New Hampshire is. She quickly fired off a letter with 35 others saying, among other things, we are concerned, this is to the President of the United States, that your administration is failing to respond to Iran's dangerous and destabilizing actions out of an eagerness to see the Iran deal go forward. Senator, it's very good to have you.
Good to be with you, Neil.
Any response yet?
No response. In fact, what we have, Neil, is that Iran launched a mid-range ballistic missile on October 10th. They did another launch on November 21st. The United Nations has just come out and said that they found that Iran was in violation of existing UN resolutions, and the administration has not done anything. So the letter that I led with 35 senators basically says, do not lift sanctions on Iran with the testing of ballistic missiles. And I think also some troubling findings in the recent IAEA report about Iran's activities, and do not provide them with the economic cash relief that they know they are trying to get under this agreement.
You know what's kind of weird? Part of their defense, I think, Senator, has been, all right, we might have cheated on the UN thing. This was not part of the deal we struck with the United States. It seems like a flimsy kind of excuse, but be that as it may.
I think it's right. I think it's a real excuse, Neil. First of all, I didn't want them to concede anything on the ballistic missiles, and nor did our military leaders. That's something I pressed the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on in the Armed Services Committee, and he said we shouldn't do it under any circumstances. You may recall that at the end of this deal, they agreed to lift the ballistic missile resolutions in the UN in 8 years. So they put this as part of the activities of what would happen in conjunction with this deal. So I think it's an excuse to say that we should not consider Iran's violation of existing UN resolutions now. It does not bode well for this agreement, and we should not be lifting sanctions if they're already violating existing UN resolutions.
But others have, right, of those nations within the Security Council that did. That money is on their way, and if it hasn't arrived already. So Iran might be saying, yeah, we heard, Senator Ayotte talking about this, but we don't care. We're getting our money, and we'll eventually get the money from the United States. So tell her and her 35 colleagues to pipe down.
Well, I think it's clear that they are pushing us. They are flouting already the UN. And they don't even have the cash relief
and they,
yet.
by the way, have not technically signed
themselves. Imagine what they're going to do when they get the money. They haven't signed it. Exactly. Yeah. They have not signed the agreement, Neil, and they haven't actually gotten the cash relief. That probably is going to could come as early as January. And look what they're already doing. Imagine what they're going to do with the resources for this agreement. It's one of the reasons I strongly opposed it, as did others, because we know that they're the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Why do you need a ballistic missile unless you want to launch a nuclear weapon? And that would be their preferred method of delivery. And that's what all of our top defense and intel officers have said to the United States of America. So they're already continuing to work on that. And to me, this is the sign. Stop right now. No lifting of sanctions, no cash relief.
Well, I have you here, Senator. It appears in this latest presidential debate that there are going to be two tiers of candidates in this race for the nomination: those who want to take aggressive actions to thwart this type of activity, to thwart terrorists, if I can pair them, and those who just want to go slow. Rand Paul raised some eyebrows when he turned to Chris Christie and said, well, if you endorse a no-fly zone over Syria, then you are the candidate of World War III. What do you think of that and this view that getting very tough in places like Syria, pushing things like a no-fly zone, shooting down Russian planes if they get into that zone, is either inviting World War III or the right medicine?
Well, what I hear from our candidates overall is that we have seen a weak foreign policy from the Obama administration. We've seen what's happened around the world with a lack of American strength resolve and leadership, whether it's the crossing of the red lines or whether it is other things that this administration has not followed through. I mean, you think about the actions with Putin, no actions taken in response to the invasion of Ukraine that I think are significant, including arming the people there to defend themselves. So to me, it's about the lack of leadership. We've heard that very clearly in this presidential campaign, and I agree fully. We need a strong American commander-in-chief, or the rogues of the world are going to continue to act the way they are.
You would not support Rand Paul's position. You're closer to Chris Christie's.
I am much more of a sort of a Ronald Reagan person, and I believe firmly that where we have America and lack of American leadership, we have seen much more conflict, and we've also seen the rogues of the world push us.
All right. Senator, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.